welcome interns to the SD training sessions. I'm Miss Bui, and today we will dive into an important aspect of managing the international projects, the cultural differences. You know that 70% of cross-border projects fail due to the misalignment in cultural expectations and communications breakdown. This shows just how important it is to understand and manage the cultural differences in our work. I have an interesting story for my recent business trip to America. As the representative of our company, I had a chance to meet Mrs. John Bigello, the CEO of Casa. Oh, hi. Okay, and here's my business card.
Thank you. You're also mine.
Okay. Oh, you really the Mr. Bigello. Okay,
Yeah.
so can we talk a bit?
Yeah, sure, sit down. So, I have this amazing.
While I expected a formal, structured discussions from my counterpart, Miss Bigelow dominated the conversations with casual talk about her personal life and company achievement and did not care my business card when I gave her.
So in this situation, we can realize that they came from two different countries, which is why their ways of communication are so different. As a Chinese girl, Musabu is accustomed to valuing formalities, choosing her words carefully, and starting a meeting in a polite manner as a sign of respect. However, Miss Bigelow is from America, where people tend to be direct and get straight to the point. They believe that openness and efficiency are the best ways to establish business relationships. And it was precisely this difference that made their communication process lack harmony.
Then I gave her a full statue to express my wish for a strong relationship with her, but then she immediately opened it and said she would give it to her daughter, which I feel so disrespectful. Then you know what? She also gave me a present too. That's a jersey with a number 44. I feel really at work at that time because she did not seem to respect my cultures in the right way.
You could see that in this case, though we all know Miss Bigelow did not mean anything bad, but in Miss Wu's culture, this number is very unlucky, because the number 4 sounds like the word for death. The number 44 makes it even worse, meaning double death. This made Miss Wu feel awkward when receiving the gift, and that leads to the feeling that she started to trust her counterpart less.
If I had a chance again, you think what should I do to best prepare myself for those situations? I want to hear from you guys.
Well, from my perspective, I think that we can use a cultural framework such as holistic cultural dimension in order to identify the cultural differences between you and your counterparts, Miss Bungalow, before your meeting. So, for example, in your case, if you use this model, you can clearly see that Miss Bungalow comes from America, which has a very low power distance compared to China. So that's the reason why you guys have very different communication style. If you knew that information earlier, you could adjust your communication style in order to be suitable in that context. So how about you, Sungwoon?
I have another idea, so you can say that Mrs. Boy and Mrs. Bigelow, they are from a different country, right? So they need to research and be aware of the business costume of the other country. So if they did that, so Mrs. Boy will have like he would have anticipated Mrs. Bigelow direct communication style and his informal approach, or Mrs. Bigelow would have understand the level of importance of smart gesture like the business card exchange, right, and the food dog gifting. So I think that he would have never give anything like the 44 t-shirt, because you can say that the meaning of the number is very important in some Asian countries. So I think that we should be considered that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your recommendations, and that's also the end of our sessions today.
These are our suggestions. So, how about you? How could you deal with such problems related to cultural differences?